Today on the CTV News at 5, City Police laid charges in a stabbing spree from 2009. Plus,
it was just like a huge weight off my shoulders. They said, hey, we've got him in custody and the child is all right. I mean, that just was massive weight off my chest.
We hear from the former Lethbridge resident who found an abducted BC toddler in Montana. And according to a new survey, support for recreational pot use is way up.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Lethbridge Regional Police have laid charges in a nightclub stabbing spree from 3 years ago. It happened during the early morning hours of October the 18th, 2009 at the Roadhouse Bar on 1st Avenue South. Police say that a fight broke out between several customers. One of the men allegedly pulled out a knife and started stabbing people. 5 people were stabbed. 2 received critical injuries and were transported to hospital in Calgary. Now 3 others suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect fled before police arrived. Police have now charged 30-year-old Jan Vorvel of Calgary. He's been released on bail and will be back in court December the 7th. A 34-year-old Cardston man has been charged with assault with a weapon and possession of a weapon after another man was treated in hospital for a minor puncture wound and cuts. It happened in the 900 block of 1st Avenue South in Lethbridge. Robert John Ironshirt will make his first court appearance in December. There's been another delay in the sentencing of a Sparwood man who kidnapped a 3-year-old boy from his bed in September of 2011. 47-year-old Randall Hopley was ordered to undergo an assessment to help to determine whether the courts should label him as a dangerous offender. That assessment is now complete, but the Crown Defense and even the judge in the case only received their copies of the report this morning and haven't had a chance to review it. Last fall, Keenan Hebert was kidnapped and kept for 4 hours before being returned to his home, physically uninjured. Hopley has pleaded guilty to the abduction. Hopley's next court appearance is January the 14th. And a BC father remains in a Montana jail tonight facing charges of abduction and theft after an international Amber Alert ended Friday with his son being found safe and sound, all thanks to the actions of a former Lethbridge resident. Philip Brunsma was in Montana. Scott Roberts reports.
He's the little boy millions were watching for after an alleged abduction by his father. Now 3-year-old Alvin Barnett is safe and sound, thanks to this man.
It was just like a huge weight off my shoulders. They said, hey, we've got him in custody and the child is all right. I mean, that just was massive weight off my chest.
Philip Brunsma called local police in Whitefish, Montana after a chance encounter with the suspect, 39-year-old Robert Barnett. He asked Brunsma for cash outside this bowling alley, telling the local he was trying to get back to Canada. Brunsma gave him some money and promised him breakfast the next morning, and it wasn't until then, while checking his computer, he realized Barnett was wanted by police.
That page opened up and I saw that information. My heart sunk because instantly I was like, oh man, this has to be that person. It just, everything matched.
Local officers arrested the suspect outside this stolen car where he and his son slept overnight. Police say the little boy was tired and hungry, but otherwise okay.
So the child is happy, the child is safe, and it's just waiting now to see who's going to come down here and take possession of the child to get the child back to Canada, where he belongs.
Questions are now being raised about the timing of the Amber Alert, first issued here in BC at 4:35. The RCMP asked counterparts in Montana to trigger their alert at 5:31 Pacific time, but state officials didn't until 7:53, nearly 2.5 hours later.
You know, we had a couple of minor technical issues that delayed it a little bit. I wish it had been a little faster.
As for how the suspect and child were able to cross the border in the first place, police say that too is a matter of timing.
The vehicle crossed over or was into the United States at around the same time as we were actually receiving the report.
Now a father faces charges, a son returns home, and many are thankful for the man who helped make it happen. Scott Roberts, CTV News, Vancouver.
Robert Barnett has dual Canadian and U.S. citizenship. The man was born in Saskatoon and applied for American citizenship in Washington state while he was serving in the U.S. Army. And a 3-year-old boy remains in critical but stable condition in a Calgary hospital after being hit by an SUV Friday. The mishap occurred in the 200 block of Aberdeen Road in West Lethbridge Friday afternoon. Police say the child went onto the roadway unexpectedly and was hit by a Toyota SUV. The boy was rushed to Chinook Regional Hospital by his father and then airlifted to Calgary by STARS. He is being treated for serious life-threatening head injuries. Members of the traffic response unit say at this point they are not anticipating any charges against the driver of the vehicle.
There was no alcohol, no speed involved in the collision. The visibility at the time was good, road conditions were good. It was just a child that appears to have been playing, running out from a driveway, and the driver had minimal time to react. Also note that the vehicle involved in this collision is a right-hand drive vehicle, which does change the driver's angle of view and allows for less reaction time to a pedestrian entering the roadway in this circumstance.
Police say the investigation has not yet been completed. Funeral arrangements have been made for a man killed in a workplace accident in Lethbridge. Curtis Dodd passed away on Wednesday after a refrigeration unit fell on top of him. He'd been helping build the new residence building at the University of Lethbridge. The 31-year-old was a supervisor at zero-gravity cranes. He'll be laid to rest on Wednesday. Well, damage at Lethbridge's Cheesecake Cafe is now pegged at over $1 million after a devastating weekend fire. Between 80 and 100 full and part-time employees are out of work after a devastating blaze at the Cheesecake Cafe early Saturday morning. Damage, as we said, now over $1 million. There is extensive heat and fire damage to the kitchen and dining room. There was also smoke and water damage throughout the building. Crews were on the scene for about 7 hours, making sure the fire was out and the scene was secure. Investigators say they have a lot of debris to remove, and it may take some time to determine the cause and origin of the blaze.
Because there's such extensive damage in this fire, it takes us a while to find the origin of where it started, and then we work on the cause after that. When I say extensive, I mean that the area went into flashover, and flashover means that there was fire and heat and smoke almost to the bottom of the floor, like to the floor area of the restaurant, and most of that area ignited.
Now, as part of the investigation, officials will be reviewing video from the restaurant surveillance camera. The owners have issued a statement saying that they are very grateful no one was injured, but feel grief for their employees who may suddenly have a difficult time providing Christmas for their families. The statement also thanks their loyal guests and outpouring of support from the community during this difficult time. The owners say they're not sure when the restaurant will be back in business, but add they are doing everything possible to reopen as soon as possible. Military experts from CFB Suffield continue to investigate the discovery of what are believed to be a number of artillery shells from a home in South Lethbridge. The munitions were discovered when police officers entered the home to check on the well-being of a homeowner. The 61-year-old was found dead. Police say there is no indication of foul play, and the death is considered non-criminal pending a report from the medical examiner's office. The type and quantity of military items are being examined. Most are apparently available to the public through Army surplus sales. And police say it appears the homeowner was a lawful collector of military paraphernalia. Investigators say there is no threat to nearby homes or the community. Dory Rossiter, before we get to the weather, I'm going to do something I never ever do, and I have to give a quick shout out to the great folks at Sasha. I emceed an event for them on Friday and met Lindsay and Todd, and what amazing people they are. So what kind of great weather are those amazing people going to have?
Well, those amazing people are going to have pretty nice weather for about another 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, and then we start to see a bit of a cool down. We were thinking it was going to target us on Thursday. Now it could be as early as Wednesday that we see numbers approaching the freezing mark for daytime highs, but I'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
Okay, thanks, Dory. Details are emerging today about the Premier's sister using health region money to support the PCs. Redford's sister Lynn was a senior executive for the former Calgary Health Region. A Freedom of Information request shows she expensed nearly $8,000 between 2005 and 2008, and almost $3,500 of that was for political activities. Some of those expensed activities include attending a Tory AGM and fundraising dinners. The Wild Rose Party says this is yet another example of the culture of corruption.
New evidence that points to a shocking lack of judgment as to what is an appropriate expense and what is not. This evidence shows repeated instances of health region resources being used to support political events, party fundraisers, and partisan activities.
Smith says this should be enough to prompt government to expand its review of executive health expenses. That investigation was originally launched after Adeline Morelli, a former Capital Health executive, racked up more than $350,000 in expenses for everything from groceries to car services. A new survey suggests that support for recreational marijuana use in southern Alberta is way up. Lethbridge College's Citizen Society Research Lab published the numbers today. They say 48.2% of Albertans support recreational use of the drug. That's up from 39.6% back in 2011. Support for medical marijuana use is also up slightly from 76.1% to 78.7%. Dr. Farron Ellis, who led the survey, says it seems to be a trend towards liberal thinking.
There tends to be overall in advanced Western democracies a trend towards more choice in these individual matters, and yes, Alberta is part of that trend.
In the last U.S. election, 2 states voted in favor of allowing recreational use of pot, despite the fact that it is still federally outlawed. Well, it may not feel like it because of these warm temperatures, but Christmas is right around the corner. Mayor Rayko Dodick lit the Christmas tree in the lobby of Lethbridge City Hall this morning. It's also the kickoff of the Salvation Army and Lethbridge Food Bank Toy Drive. For the next few weeks, they'll be collecting toys in the City Hall lobby so that underprivileged kids can have a gift this Christmas. Organizers say it's been a successful campaign each year, and they hope it continues to be.
It's huge, and it's just decorated so beautifully here, so we just encourage people to come down and donate. Of course, Christmas season, we are estimating 2,200 hampers to go out this year. So that's a lot of people that need our help and the community's help too, to provide Christmas and carry us over into the new year as well.
Toys can be dropped off in the sleigh in the lobby or at either the Salvation Army or Lethbridge Food Bank locations. And a good rebound today in the markets after last week's disappointing drops. Here are the final numbers.